basically the magic number here for the long range all-wheel drive in Australia, you're looking at potentially between 95 and 102,000, and then the performance we're looking at 122,000 for the Model Y. Hey everyone, you were Tesla Tom. Thanks for joining us today. We are talking Tesla Model Y potential pricing here in Australia, and joining us to discuss that is Shashank from Queensland, a Tesla enthusiast and someone who is interested in the pricing for the Model Y. Good morning, Shashank. How are you today?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you, Tom?
Very well, and thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to be on your channel, and I have been a long-term subscriber. So thanks for picking up my tweet that I tagged you in for the pricing, and here we are.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for supporting the channel, and thank you for creating this excellent spreadsheet which we're about to go through for the Tesla Model Y. Why don't you run us through your spreadsheet?
So I've actually done two pricings. One is China-based and the other one is US-based. But because the Teslas that we are getting now are from China, I believe there's a high likelihood that we'll get the Model Y from China as well. So hence I've used both the pricings, and then we can see what difference it is if we were to get it from US and if we were to get it from China.
Perfect.
So we'll jump straight away into Model 3, China. So if you go to China pricing, you will see that China base price for Model 3 standard range is 250,900 yuan. So the Chinese base price, I have divided that by the Chinese yuan, AUD CNY, which is 4.97. So the Chinese base price on top of the Excel sheet sits at 50,457 Australian dollars.
Okay.
However, in Australia, we get it for $62,900. And if somebody if we look it further into it, we get 508 kilometers, whereas the Chinese version gets 468 kilometers. So we get 8.55% increase in kilometers. However, the price of the base goes by 24%. So the drive-away price for a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus is $66,417. And then if somebody is to pay for full self-driving in Australia, which is $10,100, the total price of the car will come to $76,517.
Yep.
So I've also looked at how much taxes someone would end up paying after they have paid 10% GST on the car. So the government takes away 3.09% in taxes, but that does include all the local plate fee, registration cost, stamp duty as well, and luxury tax.
Okay.
So so we get about say for example a 24% price increase when we get a standard range plus from China. And then long range was available in China, but they have taken it off the offering because I think maybe they want people to move on to Model Y in China. So here we see that the long range in China, the kilometers actually increase by 16%, and the price goes up by 22% versus the China offering. But if we compare it to the standard range plus in Australia, the kilometers actually increase by 29%, and the price only increases by 24.2%. So in my opinion, the long range all-wheel drive is a great value for money. Because if we come down a little bit on the Excel sheet, and you see there $119 on the second column.
Got it. So the long range is $119 Australian per kilometer.
Per kilometer, yeah.
Versus SR Plus, which is 124. Yep.
124, yep. And as you go performance, yep.
Much better value the long range. Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then I've also divided the cost of the complete configuration by the kilometers. So the complete car will cost $92,000 with full self-driving. So 92,385 divided by 657, that comes to 141 Australian dollars. So I've divided the pricing based on the base price and also when someone configures what the pricing is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
like the sweet spot, isn't it, for the Model 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I've noticed is that whatever the base price of long range Model 3 all-wheel drive is, if we add about 15%, that gives us the price of performance base. So 77,900, it goes up to 89,900, which is the current price of the performance in Australia.
Okay.
And then what I've done is now I've tried to work on, because I have the base price per kilometer for a long range car.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually now gone back to China pricing for Model Y. You would see that the long range in China, so China is only offering two options, long range and performance. So the long range is 347,900 yuan, Chinese yuan.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's offering a 594 kilometers in range.
Okay.
So when we looked at in terms of Australian dollars, it actually comes to base equals AUD by kilometers comes to 118 Australian dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So which I think is great, because if we look at the long range in China Model 3, which is not available anymore, the base price for that was coming at $113 for the long range version.
Okay.
So by just paying additional $5, you end up getting like the base on the car at $118, and you get a Model Y. The AUD conversion comes to $82,000 after the full self-driving has been included in Australian dollars, and same for performance. Now, if we go across to the Model 3, you would see that in the red I have highlighted like 24% increase on the standard range plus, 22% increase from the China base price, and 31% increase from the performance.
Yep.
So now if I just add those numbers up or increase the percentage on the China base pricing, we'll actually see that the Australian pricing will probably come about to $86,000 for the base long range all-wheel drive.
So to summarize, if we were to take a direct, basically exactly the same car from China to us, we would get 594 Ks. This would be the price 80,000. But you're saying if they were to tack on a little bit more range for us in Australia, which they've done in the past for SR Plus Model 3s,
Yep.
then we'd pay a bit more to 85,550, but we would
Yep.
get that 650 kilometer range increase from 594. Yep, I got you now.
Yeah, and 650 makes a nice even number as well.
Yeah.
And then if we look at the base equals AUD / kilometers, I have done that as well here for Model Y. So it comes to, it'll probably sit somewhere between $130 to $135 as per my calculations. And here also the long range obviously is a better value for money as compared to performance, given the range that you get.
Yep, so it'd be 160 for performance, but 132 potentially for long range.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Yeah, 132. And also how in China we saw by paying additional $5, you end up getting like a Model Y. So here the long range in Australia is $119. So I believe with the new tech and taxes and the rest of it, so instead of adding additional $5, they'll probably have to add additional, $12 on top of $12 or $13 on top of the base of AUD kilometers. So that comes to $132. So that's why we pay $85,000 in that scenario if they end up giving us more range, and if they go by that calculation to give more range to Australia. So it'll probably come around anywhere between $80,000 to $86,000 in my opinion will be the cost of the long range all-wheel drive Model Y in Australia.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then if you add 15.4% more to the all-wheel drive price in the middle row, $85,000, it comes to $98,000, which will be the cost of the performance version.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's based on
So,
a similar correlation with the Chinese increase in price to performance.
yeah,
Yep.
for Model 3 as well. Yeah.
And the pricing you've got further down these columns is basically the base vanilla white, no increase options.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the base.
Yeah.
And I've tried to configure it myself, with better wheels, white interior, and a red car.
Yep.
The pricing on an average goes up by $10,000.
$10,000. But for this situation, white car, black interior,
basic car,
delivery free $1,500. You've got then the luxury car tax on top of that, local stamp duty, all the different fees, and then basically the magic number here for the long range all-wheel drive in Australia, you're looking at potentially between 95 and 102,000. Given your calculations that you've done, if it comes to pass, and then the performance we're looking at 122,000 for the Model Y.
And that includes full self-driving.
Includes full self-driving. Okay, so if you don't want full self-driving, we'll back up 2 rows. So Model Y long range would be between somewhere 5,000 and 92,000, and probably more like 112 for the performance. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope you're right, because these prices are kind of what I've got in my head, and I think a lot of people have in their head as well. But for the long range Model Y, somewhere between 85, 95,000. So, that's pretty good. Correlates pretty well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
And also, if we look at the increase from Chinese pricing, so you would see that for the long range Model 3, I'm looking at the middle column. The price has increased by 20%. And here, when we look at the long range in Model Y, all-wheel drive, the price has increased 23 to 24%, so 23.91%. So I believe even if we look at those pricings, and even if we try to go, if we work bottom up or top bottom, like in my opinion, these are the prices that they should probably price the car at.
Okay. Gotcha. So either way, whether you've you've calculated it, reverse engineered it, so to speak, based on dollars per kilometers, and you've worked out that way to get to our pricing. It still works out very similar with the price increase. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so that's the Chinese yuan pricing. Should we move on to the US dollar pricing?
If Model Y was to come from USA, then the base price for long range, as per the calculations, would sit at $95,637. So here what I have done is I have calculated the long range pricing in Australia based on the older numbers from 2019, I think, and the long range multiplier, so that's coming at 2.07. So that is how much the base price of Model 3 in USA was $43,190, which became $90,000, nearly $90,000 in Australia.
Gotcha.
So that multiplier became 2.07. So now if I use the long range multiplier for Model Y, so $46,190 US, multiply that by 2.07, that will come to 95,637 for the base price.
Okay, that makes
Model
sense.
Y. Yep. And then so pretty much we end up saving about like say $10,000, $10,000 to $15,000. If they are to price the Model Y at $8,000, I think it'll probably sell like hotcakes. Like for Tesla to give, I think they'll probably not do it. Otherwise, it'll probably cramp up their sales for Model 3. But I think anywhere between $80,000 to $85,000 would be a great price for base price for a Model Y.
Yep. So what we're saying is basically looking at both Chinese and US pricing, we are hoping that our cars for Model Y will come from China because it'll save, like you said, $5,000 to $10,000 for the long range.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Shashank. Thank you so much for sharing your spreadsheets with us. Really informative and really in depth. So thank you again. And I'm sure our viewers are going to appreciate all the pricing options as well, both from China and the US. And the very best of luck and best wishes for for you and everyone else watching that the Model Y will come to Australia hopefully in 2021, if not early 2022. We shall see. All right, thanks everyone. Happy charging.